Welcome back, everyone.
Thanks. Everybody want to sing happy birthday to DM?
Depends with the mortality rate.
Yeah, you guys don't want to sing happy birthday before we're done.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Now you've lived another year. Forget how those
So your
things
wish
go.
didn't come true, I see.
Yeah, not last year.
What was last year's wish?
Not to make it another year.
Sad, sad.
I am the saddest of boys.
All right. Jimmy, would you like to go ahead and recap last session?
Alrighty. Well, we had been charged by Lord Stormforge, right? With redeeming ourselves for having insulted Captain Deepmantle by rescuing him. I didn't really quite understand how that worked, but that was apparently what we had to do. So we went back out into the caves out beyond the frontier rubble of the city under the mountain, and ran into a couple of patrols, learned some things. We learned what we need to report back to the guard of Toravir Deep, that a legion is coming. And they have giants and dragons. We also learned that they were looking, for whatever reason, for a kobold who was apparently lost down there. And after we defeated the second patrol, up pops a kobold. What'd you think of that? And so we found out that this kobold is Mr. Prince, which I thought was NCE, but it's not. It's MTS. And while he seems to be a bit of a fop, seems like a nice guy. So then he said he needed to report back to his boss, dove into his satchel, and was gone. So I think we've got an empty satchel and no kobold.
We also have a hostage from the patrol.
Was that the Fire Genasi? I couldn't
Fire
remember
Genasi.
whether
I've been
we
trying
had
to find his name. I don't know. I thought I wrote it down, but
Bonfire.
yeah, there we go. But yeah, here we go. Here it is. Yeah, Bonfire. So yeah, the Genasi, he basically said, whatever we do, please make sure he ends up in a Dwarven prison.
So we'll be happy to drag his ass back to Toravir Deep and turn him over to the dwarves, who can do with him what they want. And I really thought Unox was going to do him, but I guess
mean,
that
still useful. He, we can make sure he is willing and able to give all kinds of information to the dwarves.
no, he was quite forthcoming. Yes. So I'm fully in favor of taking this hostage back and treating him as a prisoner of war. I don't think they've got Geneva Conventions here, but
The dwarves treat their prisoners fair, at least from what we've seen, I would think.
Yeah.
They're lawful.
Certainly more
Good.
so than Soul Springer, whatever his name is. Soul
The
something.
Leonin. Yeah, the Leonin.
Yeah, the Leonin. Mm-hmm.
Soul Forger.
Soul
Forger.
Forger. Okay.
Pretty cool name, if I say so myself.
You do, don't you?
Kinda fucking sick, actually.
So we're just waiting for Mr. Prince to come back at this point.
I think let's not wait. Let's grab the satchel and head back. I assume that he can pop in and out of the satchel. Have we looked in the satchel? You know, like stick a head in and say hello.
I mean, we poked it and it fell over.
Would you like to look in the satchel?
Hell yeah, I do.
All right,
Think
if
we're
you're
curious.
so whoever the one player who's looking in the satchel can go ahead and give me a perception check.
I'll put my head in there. I don't care.
All right, but if you pull back and your head stays in there, we're not going in after you.
Oh damn it! I didn't launch the shit.
I saw the 22
Yeah.
in D&D Beyond.
It popped up weird in D&D Beyond, and that reminded me I needed to open Forge.
Those of you, I only see Onyx and Forge, so the rest of you probably need to refresh your game.
Hmm?
All right, you had a 22.
Yeah. Does it slurp me in there? Me and all my hit points.
It does not slurp you in there. So you kind of, pull it open. It's dark. You kind of stick your head inside. It takes a second to adjust. But looking around, what you can make out is that you appear to be a few feet off the ground in the midst of a number of aisles of bookshelves. It goes on further than you can see, and each bookshelf is probably 20, 30 feet high. There are these little, kind of floating purple orbs of light illuminating each little, section of it. And it's this huge variety of multicolored tones, chains hanging from some of them across this library. There does not appear to be any other features, with the exception of just these long halls of bookshelves and darkness beyond that which you can see.
Is it big enough for me to get in there?
Yeah,
It's like a little satchel, right?
if you pull it, it kind of starts to open up wide enough for you to step inside.
Wait. Before he goes, I wanna quickly tie a rope around him, just so that way I can pull him back out.
Nope, not enough time for that.
Oh,
I'm
very, very quick. I'm very I have reflexes like a cat.
Sure, I understand, but all you literally see me go, up,
Well, when I
and
see
then I
you
just
put
fall
your,
He
in.
is
I see you
physically a cat.
yeah, well,
I'm going in.
when I
So
see you start to put your head
which
in,
is the more
I'll start to
reflexive, the
tie the
actual
rope
cat or the
around.
cat-like
Yeah.
reflexes?
Every reflex he has is a cat-like because he is a cat.
Well, I'm.
Big kitty, I'm going in.
All right. Well, can I try to tie the rope around him before he does something stupid?
Sure, you can try.
Okay, what is that?
Try to give me
Would it be sleight of hand or dexterity?
I'll just say
dexterity.
sleight of hand. And I don't think that he's actively contesting it.
No,
So
I'm
would it
just
be
going in.
his what is it, passive acrobatics or something?
I would say that you probably were quick enough to just slip something really quick. There's a knot around maybe his pack or something.
Okay. Yeah, like not around him, but like his pack or something that can just like try to get something to be like,
Yeah.
Onyx,
Ooh,
no!
ooh. I don't have a pack anymore. I have a fanny pack.
Okay, so then it's around your fanny pack.
I got the bag of fanny pack.
Okay, sure. It's kind of like looped around in there because I was like trying to get around your leg, but you were moving too fast.
All right,
Hold on.
I'm in here.
You are standing within the library shelves. There, it's kind of like it's very quiet. It is kind of this cool, dry air within there. There's no breeze of any sort. It's just exceptionally quiet. When you turn and look back towards where you had entered, you can kind of see the rope coming off the back of you, and then it just like boop, disappears into nothing.
Interesting.
It's just like kind of like hanging strangely in the air to you. The rest of you can see the rope going through the like sack hole and then tying off to him. But Onyx, you cannot see back out.
Okay. Is it dark in here?
There are a number of those little purple lights on either side of you down the aisle of this this aisle. So you can see about 30 feet, and then the lights stop.
Okay. Can I just like pull a book off a shelf and just look at it?
Sure. Go ahead and give me an intelligence check.
Hell yeah. Roll low, give me a picture book.
Uh, it is not a picture book. It appears to be written in. Let me just
I
make
got
sure.
Primordial Giant Leonin.
Okay, it is not in a language you understand. It is quite a bit of script within the book. You know, probably a couple hundred pages of it. It looks to be in very good condition.
I'm gonna choke down the baby barf, just like, and then just like put it back on the shelf.
All right.
Just think to myself, be like, this might be Demetari's place or Azrael's. I'm gonna clear my throat. Just, and I'm gonna give a daunting roar.
Okay. It echoes through the passageways. There is no response.
Am I super pleased with the echo?
It's a pretty solid echo.
Hell. I'm gonna wait for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'm gonna climb back up the rope. If no one answers or comes or anything within a couple of minutes, I'm just gonna go back up the rope.
You feel for the exit. You are not able to climb back out.
Hell yeah.
So with him pulling, trying to put his weight on the rope, do we feel that?
The rest of you kind of watch, and it's like he knows where the exit is because the rope goes back through it. But you're just kind of like, the rest of you see Onyx just kind of like pawing at the air on either side of the opening. And like, there's nothing there, essentially.
Can I grab him?
So the rope's still tied to him. Can we try pulling him back out? I mean, that
Sure.
was what the rope was for.
I think Briar should do that. Briar's real strong. Be like, Briar!
Well, I think we'd all haul on it.
Calling an airlift.
All right. Can I get an athletics check from someone? And then if you guys are helping, you can do it with advantage.
Need to pull up her character sheet. So 20.
All right. She pulls as hard as she can. Onyx, you kind of feel yourself yanked towards this spot in the air, and then you just kind of like lift it off the ground towards it, like where it's tied off, and you kind of dangle there for a second, and she just pulls as hard as she can, and then she just lets go, and you just onto the stone floor.
I'm just gonna look down and say, well, and just cut the rope.
All right.
Untie it, cut it, get it off me.
You could probably untie it.
Nah.
Yeah, please don't cut my rope.
It'd be
It's
like a couple inches,
expensive
it'll be
rope. It's nice and silky.
fine. I'm just gonna take a deep breath. And is this like north, south, east, or west, or is it like, or am I at like a 4-way? What's it looking like?
A few yards away, you can kind of tell that there is probably an intersection.
Sweet. All right. So I'm gonna uncork the eyes of my pauldron. That way the orange light glows. That way it's very different from the normal lights. I'm gonna make sure that my sword is put away, but I'm gonna pull out my drum because I have one of those. And I'm just kind of gonna lightly tap on it and hum to myself and start walking.
All right, you
I'm
start
trying.
walking.
Trying to make it to where it's like I'm heard and seen differently, but very not threatening.
Okay. What are the rest of you guys?
I think we're hanging out.
No, I
Can
think
we-
we need to
the-
take this pack back to somebody who knows more about magic.
I'm wondering
It-
why Onyx doesn't see himself as a valued member of this team and can't act like himself.
What?
And we're reasonably certain that the satchel is a portal to this other place, the other side, and that if we take the satchel, the portal goes with it, and so we would be able to, at some point, perhaps get Onyx out and not just leave him in this alternate dimension.
Well, I mean, if we move the pack, right, I can see Onyx or where Onyx was, right, and it's moving with the pack.
Is it? I mean, what we pick the pack up and like move it 3 feet to the side and take a peek through. Is it at the same place or is it 3 feet down the stacks?
It's in the same place. Onyx, as you travel through the shelves, you get to a T. The lights are kind of like flaring up as you travel and then diminishing behind you, creating this kind of little bubble of illumination around you.
Can I like use control flames to try to make them do weird stuff?
They're not actually flame.
Oh, cool. So I reach out with control flames and don't feel the tether like I normally do.
Yeah, I think you'd be able to figure out pretty quickly they're not.
Ooh, I don't know about that. Got a solid 8 intelligence, my guy.
And maybe Onyx wasn't the best one to have to go explore a library.
You know what
Oh
they
well.
say? Curiosity kills the cat.
Oh my.
Help myself.
We can't hear you through your mic, Demetari.
All I can hear is just really, really quiet.
Right. It sounds like it's coming
I think she's
through
through
Trey's.
Trey's.
Make sure I'm not muted then.
Oh no, it is coming through yours, but it's really, really quiet.
Huh. Okay, hold on. Gotta mess with some settings.
Are you using your laptop and is it sitting on a blanket or something?
It just sounds like you're in coming from the other room.
Okay. I have it right next to me, but I'm not able to put in headphones right now.
I do kind of want to keep an eye out to see if I see any titles or anything that look interesting to me.
Sure.
Anything that I can actually read. I'm kind of just being nosy. I'm not looking to like steal anything or anything like that. I'm just kind of looking at the bindings and walking.
And yeah, as for the rest of us, I would say let's get out of here so we don't run across any more Australian patrols and possibly giants. Since
Oh,
our big guy is gone off on his own little thing.
there is one specific thing I am looking for, actually. There is a very specific thing that I'm looking for.
Okay.
I'm looking for a book on trees.
A book on what?
Trees.
Trees. Okay. Sure. Go ahead and give me an intelligence.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that's not terrible.
All right. You would spot a title written in common that you are able to read and would kind of stand out to you. It is titled "Wish?" And kind of pulling it off the shelf and flipping it open, it appears to detail a number of times someone cast the wish spell and how it went wrong every time.
Ooh, that's pretty solid. I want to look for the funniest one and then just kind of put that in the memory bank.
You would find one called Flumphs, The Pleasant Surprises of the Underdark. It is a cookbook on how to cook up flumphs.
Wow, that's pretty
Take
good.
that book.
And then I shut it and put it back on the shelf.
As you place it back on the shelf, you suddenly hear a creaking and a groaning noise in one of the aisles next to you. The orbs of light around you flicker and turn red.
Oh, that's awkward. Hello? Hello, I tripped in here. How do I get out? Please help me.
A small, strange-looking bird flutters down onto one of the shelves next to you. You see, it appears to have like this almost shiny metal feathers across the face of it, and a blue glow coming out of the center of it. The bird kind of flicks its head at you, lets out a little trill, and then this like gas starts to flutter out of the bird. And I
Hold
need
my
you to
breath.
make a charisma saving throw.
Ooh, trash.
All right. You kind of like hold your breath and step back. The bird lets out an excited trill and begins to fly away into the darkness.
Well, that's weird. Are the lights still red?
Yes.
Well, that's awkward.
Are the rest of you guys still like watching in there?
Well, no, I figure at this point we've picked up the pack and started walking.
Okay.
Yeah, we're headed back out. We'll catch up with him later.
Should he be in there on his own?
I mean, can we see him? Like, if we look in the pack, can we see what he's doing?
I'm gonna look in the pack again.
Oh, I'm moving.
Yeah, he's moved away from where the pack was, right? Because we established that we moved the satchel and it doesn't track inside that space.
You would be able to see that the lights within the pack are no longer purple; they are now red.
All right, I'm going in.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go keep him company.
What is up with the cats?
Because
Throw it into the bag.
do you think he's okay in there on his own? I don't.
It's a library.
Okay.
What could happen?
Probably fine.
No, I'm actually for you getting in there. Just, don't die yourself. Because, we've already lost one party member. I would not want to lose two.
I like my fur color. I'm gonna flip into the bag.
Oh, superhero landing, but you
Hell
biff it
yeah.
because the angles are wrong, and then you land on the face. Like the bag was.
Give me an
slightly-
acrobatics check. We'll see
Oh,
if you do a
please.
superhero landing. It's a superhero landing, just like
Hell yeah.
3 points.
Knuckles in the ground, stone cracks a little bit.
Bookshelves in all directions go flying.
Book falls off, hits you in the head.
You look badass. You can tell because the floor is like this shined almost to a mirror, so you can see yourself in it. All right. And,
All right. I'm gonna listen for him
Okay.
because he's not a quiet individual.
And he's very specifically not being quiet right now.
Very specifically, not being quiet.
Perfect. Jog to catch up to him,
All right.
and I'm gonna have my bow ready because red lights are never usually friendly.
You would probably be able to catch up to Onyx pretty quickly. He hasn't gone super far.
I'm not like sprinting. I'm just kind of like bebopping, thumb tapping on a drum. Do I feel weird?
No. You feel
Sweet.
normal.
Sweet. Can I use Control Flame to change the color of the eyes in my pauldron to purple?
Sure. That sounds cool. I'd allow that. All right.
Cool.
Snow, you catch up to Onyx. You can see his purple minotaur skull illuminating the shelves next to him. Around you guys, you would have seen each other coming because as you move through it, each one of you kind of has your own little aura of light from the little magical orbs.
As I'm gonna jog up, I'm like, dude, you should have seen my landing. It was fucking badass. What's going on here?
Insight check.
Sure.
I don't believe it.
Do I have to roll deception even though because it's honest?
You don't have to roll perception. It would be maybe persuasion.
I don't believe you. You biffed it, didn't you?
I did not.
What are you doing in here? Did you try to get back out? Could you get back out? So was I just messing up the whole thing?
Oh yeah, I can get in and out.
They just kind of like yanked me up, and I was just kind of like and then someone dropped me on my face.
Oh, that was Azrael.
That checks. I think she kind of hates me.
Yeah, I get that impression too.
I don't know why. I didn't do nothing to her.
Yeah, I don't know either. So
Why
is
do you
this
have
just one big library, or
I don't know. Why do you have your bow out?
always prepared?
Yeah, but we don't I don't know. Might as well just let them know we're here and just kind of like,
Have you seen anything since you've been in here?
nope. It's been quiet.
Insight check.
Make a deception check.
Convincingly high. Oh, yeah, I have advantage on those.
On deception check?
Yep, I still lose.
Did you roll 2 d20s together?
Yeah, I don't know. I clicked the button for
Keep highest one.
there. I don't know. DMU roll. Which one do I take?
What?
Oh yeah, that was 2 together. That doesn't make.
Well, the 23
Well-
beats, but why do you have advantage?
Because of my rune. Because of my rune knight stuff.
Did you activate your room, or do you just always have advantage on deception?
While wearing or carrying an object inscribed this room, you have an advantage on sleight of hand and deception check.
All right.
Well, even if you haven't seen anything yet, this is where Mr. Prince went, and he's not here, so God only knows where he's going to be.
I mean, I'm just kind of looking for anybody here. Kind of like tripped, fell, came in here, and now I got to figure out what's going on.
Word.
How do I share stuff to? It's not like letting me send it to Beyond. Whatever.
All
I
right.
don't know. Everything turned red a second ago. Don't really know why. So I turned my eyes over here purple just to let them know I'm friendly because that was the original color.
Let them know?
Whoever them, he said he had to go talk to someone and then hopped in the bag. Obviously more than him in here.
As the two of you are walking and talking, suddenly, stepping out in front of you, is a bipedal creature made of stone. Set in its face, it seems to have these like kind of like floating limbs made of this like black obsidian. Inside of it, there are like orbs of gems emanating a purple. The two creatures look very similar to the small bird that you had seen previously.
There's two of them?
Yes. They
I
are
just hold my hand.
they are normal sized humanoid creatures.
I just raise my hand. Hey, can you help us get out of here?
Let me check. All right. Onyx, you hear suddenly inside of your head a voice speaking this guttural, harsh language. You don't speak it. I don't know if you've heard it before. However, Snow, in your head, in Draconic, you hear a voice stating, "You have trespassed upon the library. Surrender now, or be destroyed."
Put up a finger. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, he says that we're trespassing and we should surrender or we're going to be destroyed.
Ask him if he can just kind of like lead us out of here. I didn't know I was trespassing. We accidentally fell in.
I'm going to respond in Draconic of, we did not mean to end up here. We fell through a bag and we were just trying to get out of here. We tried getting out and it would not let us leave. Can you show us the way out?
You are not permitted to see the library. The
I respond
Creature-
with, we weren't trying to see the library.
the creature holds up a hand, and with the other extends what appears to be a blindfold towards you.
Oof.
I think he just doesn't want us to see it. We can wear a blindfold. I'm gonna say in Draconic of like, if we put on these blindfolds, will you show us the way out?
We will lead you to the exit.
I'm gonna turn back to Onyx. If we put on the blindfolds, they will lead us to the exit.
I put
It's
my
probably-
drum in the fanny pack and take the blindfold.
I'm gonna do the same.
All right. You guys put the blindfolds on.
I wanna put the blindfold on like kind of crooked though, to where like I get like a corner space in my eyeball, where I can like kind of peep out a little bit.
Sure, make it like, I don't know, performance check. See if they don't notice.
Performance?
Yeah. Or
Make
I
a
don't
show
know.
about making it crooked.
You know, being clever about it. I guess you could use dexterity for it.
I mean, it's about the same. Not
Don't you
sleight
have
of hand.
advantage on sleight of hands?
I do have advantage on sleight of hand. That's why I was pushing for it.
It is a dex save.
Oof, tough.
Luckily for you, they did not roll very well on perception. All right. You both, Onyx, watching the two creatures kind of stand behind you. Then you feel this like cold, strong grip on your shoulder, and it kind of starts to gently guide you forward. The rest of you, can I get a survival / perception check from you guys who are going through the caves?
Oh, fuck.
Rough on that or survival check.
Yeah.
All right. You begin to travel back the way you had come, through the caves, back through the previous tunnels, away from where you had encountered the scouts and the other folks who were trying to capture Mr. Prince. Javid, you round a corner in the pitch blackness, and maybe 50 or so yards away in the darkness, you can see this like bright orange glow of about 30 or 40 torches. Standing amongst them are dwarves. A huge throng of them wearing the familiar dwarven armor of Torvir Deep. They seem to be kind of in somewhat of a formation. You can tell that they have a few guys on kind of each of their flanks, kind of keeping an eye out. They absolutely have not seen you yet. Your dark vision is just too good.
Can I tell if they are really the dwarves of Torvir Deer, or maybe somebody in disguise?
Make an insight check. Yes, they are. You can tell that pretty well they're the dwarves of Torvir Deep. They're kind of at a spot where it's like where you are is a tunnel kind of like sloping upward, and you're at like a corner almost where the tunnel kind of twists down, and then they are in a lower parallel tunnel about, I don't know, 20 feet below you. So they've kind of sitting at this T-junction that connects two parallel tunnels. They don't look to be in kind of a permanent position. Like they're just, most of them are in formation with a few guys keeping an eye out.
And do we see anybody that I recognize, like from having gone into the outpost with Lord Stormforge. See any leadership, any recognizable faces?
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't see anyone that you recognize.
Okay. All right. I'm going to scooch back quietly and report what I've spotted to the rest. And let's see. We've got Bonfire, arms bound, hobbled,
Gagged, presumably.
gagged. Yes. Mm-hmm. All right. So I think these are the dwarves. I did not expect them to be coming out, but it sounds like they may be pressing the out toward the enemy. So I say we go up and report. Does that sound like a plan?
Yep. We have
All right.
the code word rock and stone to
That's
show
true.
that
We
we're
do.
with them.
Yes. All right. So I'll head back and very.
Oh, shouldn't we all go together?
Oh yes,
everyone?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, definitely. We don't want to be sneaky about this. We're
Can we have Briar turn her light on so it's nice and bright so they can see us?
Sure. All right. So yeah, you guys, flare up pretty brightly, illuminating the air around you. You guys are gonna go back down to the dwarves.
yes.
All right. As you guys kind of round the corner and down this small hill towards the dwarves, you can suddenly hear in Dwarvish one of them, "Halt! Where's home?"
Rock and stone in Dorvish.
All right. You kind of watch as the couple of the dwarves who were staring towards you seem to loosen up, and you guys are allowed to continue down towards them. One of the leaders kind of steps out of the group toward. What's going on over here? Who are you folks?
So we are working with we were sent by Lord Viscerite, who gave us a message on behalf of Lord Stormforge, to basically go and find some of the patrols. We happened to find some of the enemy down here. While doing so, we found a hostage who is more than happy to give information as long as he ends up in a prison, your prison. And also, if we could have some help, some of our friends fell in this bag, and it's like a portal, and they can't get back out.
The dwarf kind of listening to us a bit. He's like, I am absolutely not going to help you with that. Good luck. But that first bit about you said you had a prisoner. We're not really in a position to hold on to prisoners right now. We're taking care of some other stuff. And as you guys kind of look around the group of dwarves, towards the back of the group, they seem to have been carrying large containers. And amongst them, there are what appear to be dwarven engineers who are pulling stuff out of these containers and drilling holes into the side of the passage. Not really.
No, right. You guys have got your mission. I understand. I thought maybe there was enough of you to, but no. It seems like you you've got your hands full, so we'll leave you be, and for operational security, won't inquire further. We'll just head back, and we'll turn in the prisoner of war.
Well, he might have information that'd be helpful, and I kind of like I take the gag out of Bonfire, and I'm like, he's very forthcoming if you want to ask him anything.
Sure, I suppose we could do some quick interrogating. Do you care if he comes back with you?
I mean, we did promise him he'd be alive and in a Dwarven prison, and
Such an annoying promise. Why'd you make that? Alright, fine, whatever. And the couple of the dwarves like grab him by his scruff and kind of like drag him across the ground. Like they're holding him up, but he's taller than them, so he's still just like his feet are dragging along the stone.
Yeah, Azrael, I think we ought to stick with our prisoner, make sure that he's treated okay, and that we don't lose track of him. At least get a receipt for him if they're gonna hang on to him.
all right, we can follow.
All right. They kind of drag him into a corner and they start asking him, how many people he came with, who's in charge of his force. Very similar questions to what you guys had asked. What kind of logistics they're running, what kind of siege weapons they have, how long they've been down here, any ideas on how they plan to get through all kinds of stuff. And he knows a little bit, but you definitely get the impression that they get kind of frustrated with him because he doesn't know anything that's like actionable. He kind of gives them the same stuff that like is useful, but it wouldn't necessarily help. Pretty much.
Can I do an insight check? Is he holding anything back?
Sure, make an insight check. You'd be able to tell that he just really doesn't know. He just wasn't. He's pretty low ranking. You can tell that by his uniform. The rest of you, as you're kind of watching this, you can see the rest of the dwarven group kind of doing something with the walls here, drilling into it and stuffing stuff inside. After just a few minutes, one of the dwarven engineers kind of comes over to the officer who's talking to you guys and, all right, we're done down here. Ready to move on to the next location. And the officer kind of gives a shout. He's like, all right, everyone, pick up your stuff. We're moving on to the next one. And they just kind of like, the dwarves kind of start getting ready and start beginning to kind of shuffle off down deeper into the tunnel. The officer kind of turns over to you guys. You're welcome to stick with us, I suppose, if you'd like. We won't be terribly long. I've only got 2 more sites to put this off, and it doesn't take us too long if you want to stick with the safety numbers and all that. It's getting quite hairy down here, from what I've heard.
I think that's a good idea. It's not safe. There's a thing that we were told about that's eating soldiers, so we should probably avoid that too. But yeah, I don't want to be here by myself.
I'm sorry, there's a thing eating soldiers? Who told you that?
Bonfire over there. He said that there's a thing eating their men. It's like a gelatinous cube or something. I've never actually saw it, but apparently it just ate soldiers. Yeah.
Oh. All right, we'll keep an eye
And
out.
also portals that you can just fall into,
Okay. I'm not a delver, so I've never heard of such things, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, if
Okay,
they've only
can
got a couple more things, it's probably a good idea. We stick with them since we are down a couple on our party.
All right.
Can I mess with the bag again? Can I like try to just see if I can like figure out, like, I don't want to put my hand in it or anything, but I'm just like inspecting it, trying to get it like, how does it work?
You can make an Arcana check.
We've not poked this bag to see if it's got like a sheet of instructions or a little button you rub to turn it off and on, that sort of thing.
You can make an investigation check. All right, so Azrael, what you can tell is that the pack, it really doesn't have anything in it, with the exception of this like opening at the top that you can expand to climb into. You can as well tell that it seems like going. You can kind of like put your hand or your arm or something into it, and you can take it back out just fine. But it's going all the way in precludes you from exiting the satchel.
And poking your head in and taking a peek, it's the same spot as before.
It does appear to be so. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And the light's red or purple?
The lights would now be purple. You guys are kind of shuffling along behind the dwarven party. The engineers in the back are kind of fiddling with the stuff they have in their crates that are being carried by the other dwarven soldiers. Takes a few minutes, but they get to another junction, and the dwarves kind of set to work again, drilling holes, placing things in the walls. You can see a couple of the engineers they got out like those little tiny little hammer things, and they're inspecting the rocks and like the status of things here and there. You can see one of them like takes a sample and stuffs it in. As well, there appears to be a cartographer who's kind of sketching their way down there and making sure they're on the right spot, verifying that.
Atari, he has maps.
Muted. No. She's having a lot of computer.
All right.
Just use your phone. Hey, they didn't like manacle us or anything as we're walking through, right?
The dwarves?
No, as we're
No,
walking
the
through-
rock
Oh,
climb.
no. Sorry, yes. You and Snow. No, they did not.
Okay.
Blindfolded.
Operative.
So I don't know if they're like sentient or just constructs.
Could
But
be both.
it's bad enough, Snow. You can see that I'm visibly trembling.
I feel him trembling next to me. What's going on? What are you freaking out about?
No, it's not important. And then I'm gonna like fish around in my bag, and then I've got like a handkerchief that I just wipe my face with. Even though you can't see, you can just like feel it because we're blindfolded. I just remembered.
What is wrong with you?
Nothing. Just keep moving.
All right, to answer your question, Azrael, they probably have something to learn from me, so you think I should show them my maps?
I think you would like that.
Cool. I'm gonna go over to the cartographers and introduce myself and say, I'm also a map maker. Check out these cool inks.
The dwarf kind of looks up at you, and he's got these huge, like, zoomed in spectacles, and he's like, all right, looks great. Good ink.
I just imagine she's wearing like an overcoat, like a trench coat. And she just like whips it open, like, "Hey kids, want to see my ink?"
Dwarves
I'm
are just.
gonna, I mean, like, you gotta work with what you got. I mean, has there been a situation that you guys have run into and you're like, oh crap, I don't have ink. What do you use?
No, we don't. We don't typically stray too far from the city, so we always have a fresh supply of ink. Plus, the cartography teams are very well stocked.
Wow, good for you. You sound you know, really forward in your map making skills. I'm just looking disappointed, thinking that I was a lot better than I actually am.
Aye, we're a very professional bunch. We make lots of maps.
Well, any tips?
No, those are proprietary. Good luck.
How kind. And I'm just gonna walk away, looking rather upset. Azrael, that was not a good idea.
They take a while to warm up to, but that's the first step, right? And next time you talk to them, it would be more friendly.
They're not as nice as the people at the morgue.
All right. It takes about half an hour or so, but the dwarves finish dealing with this spot of the cave, and they, pack it up again, and they lift all their stuff up, and begin shuffling even deeper.
And didn't they say they just had a couple of stops and then they were headed back?
Yeah, they said 2.
Oh, so they finished one. Okay.
They finished 1 stop out of 2.
Okay. Got it.
They spend probably about 30 more minutes, deeper and deeper, getting to another junction spot. This one's a little bit kind of twisted. There's about 5 or 6 large tunnels that tee into this one. And they start just spreading out across the little cavernous space, drilling into the side and stuffing things in.
Can I figure out kind of what they're doing based off, because I'm just kind of watching them, with the drills and the rocks and all that? Can I deduce what they're doing?
You could make some kind of intelligence, maybe investigation. All right. You're not exactly sure what they're doing, but they drill a hole. They kind of pull something out of the crates that they have with them. They very gingerly insert it into the hole that they have drilled. As far as exactly what they're doing, it's kind of anybody's guess, really.
Is that
Does it look
safe?
like I think the intent is for it not to be safe. They're making things dangerous, not safe.
Well, for us to be near it.
No. Yeah. Do we see any? Does this look like mining where they're drilling blasting holes and putting in blasting caps and?
Oh yeah, they're definitely putting in explosives.
And they're I assume not running wire to these. Does it look like maybe some kind of a arcane signaling triggering?
Not that you would have seen with an 11 or a 12.
Yeah, I'm not a miner. I don't know this shit.
Yeah, you typically go deeper than these guys in your exploration of the Underdark and those regions. So being in caves with humanoid friendly creatures is pretty unusual for you, I would say.
Yeah, usually just use natural or existing rather than trying to make my own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably okay. I don't want to be around when they trigger it, whatever way that is, but we'll assume that they seem okay with what they're doing, that we will be okay with it for the time being, and just not stick around to see what happens when it goes off.
Well, we know when they move, we move.
Oh yes, we're gonna stick with them pretty close, not go lagging very far behind.
All right. Onyx and Snow, as you are being led kind of through these twisting halls of the library, you finally round a corner. In front of you, there is much more illumination that you can see, Onyx. The librarians have led you to what appears to be a bridge. As you kind of step out onto it, looking down, you can see that there are dozens of similar levels below you of these library halls. It extends quite far in either direction. And this like kind of open chasm seems to kind of curve around on either side of the. It is illuminated by thousands of the little purple orbs kind of strung across it, just floating gingerly in the chasm. But it extends further than you can see. The librarians kind of leading you across the bridge to the other side. You note a distinct change in these halls. They're a little bit more constrained on this side. The ceiling's a little lower. The passageway's a little narrower. The book's a little older and larger. As they kind of move you through it, they eventually arrive at what appears to be a great entryway. Huge pillars holding aloft the ceiling as it kind of opens up around you. And at the bottom of about 20 or 30 stone steps is a great black door.
I would like to point out that this whole time I've been like had this hanky that I pulled out of my fanny pack, and I've been like wiping my nose and my face and stuff.
Okay. The two librarians kind of approach the door, letting you guys kind of setting you to stop about 10 or so feet in front of it. And they letting go and step to either side. Snow, in your head, you hear one of them say, "You may remove your blindfolds."
I take off my blindfold and hand it back to the librarian.
They're not right next to you guys. They've gone to kind of
No.
flank the door on either side.
I'm gonna walk over and hand it to one of them.
He just kind of holds it. And then with the other arm, he kind of twists this large stone dial on the wall. And there's this very silent, like, kind of deep rumble in it. The door starts to open, and this, like, bright orange light, kind of like almost a beam, appears across the floor and, like, sweeps across it as it starts to open. Your eyes kind of have to adjust to it. And both of you can see in front of you this huge red desert. This, like, brilliant yellow sun in the distance illuminating it. And the librarians say, "You may exit."
Does
Look
it
at
look
him
familiar?
like, this is not where we came in. Is there any way to get back to where we fell in here?
And the librarian just kind of looks at you, pointing
Does it
towards
look
the
familiar?
exit. Oh, sorry. No, not at all. It might look familiar, but just like something about it is off. It doesn't look like anywhere you've ever seen before.
Um, m- I'm gonna look at him. Mr. Prince is who we were looking for. He said he needed to talk to us.
What is wrong with you?
As you look at my face, across my muzzle, the top of bridge of my nose and everything is pure white.
Well, that's new.
My face is normally black.
The librarians kind of look at you for a second, then at each other, and then you hear a voice from behind you at the top of the stairs. Hello, excuse me, what's going on down there? And it is Mr. Prince, standing at the top of the stairs. May I help you? You came in after me. Probably should have warned you not to do that, but that's all right.
I kind of tripped and fell in here, and now my friend and me can't get back.
he fell into the bag and couldn't get out, and I wasn't about to let my friend go into an alternate dimension without some backup.
Understandable. Might I just take these two off your hands? And Mr. Prince kind of looks at the two librarians, and they kind of twist the dial again, and the door begins to slide shut. The room is dark again, illuminated only by the orb. Mr. Prince.
And my eyeballs.
And your eyeball. Mr. Prince kind of, follow me. You have been approved for an audience with the Grand Librarian.
Contrary to almost every other time, Onyx lets you lead, Snow.
I'm gonna pat him on the shoulder and be like, "It'll be okay, buddy."
He flinches
Let's
when you
go.
pat him.
Shh. And I'm gonna walk up the stairs.
All right.
Quick aside though, real quick, is this dial thing? Was it something similar to Doctor Strange, where they could put different locations in?
No. It just seemed to be the operating mechanism for the door.
Got it.
Mr. Prince kind of starts leading you through the passageways. Good thing I found you when I did. You would not wish to spend very much time in the Red Desert. It goes on for quite some time. How much water did you bring with you? Enough for 100 days? Because that's not enough.
I don't believe water would have been the only issue, and I gestured to my thick fur.
Yes, that would also not have done you any favors. But got to you in time, and all is well. The rest of you didn't happen to come in, did you? I hope they didn't fall off into the chasm. That would be bad as well.
No, they were not with us, and I would like to apologize again. We did not mean to intrude upon the library.
That's all right. The library is a little bit more defensive than I would appreciate for it to be. We hoard all this knowledge and no one really reads it. It's somewhat of a shame, I think.
I have to agree. Those who do not study history are doomed to repeat it.
Quite right. Anyway, here we are. He's been kind of leading you guys through these kind of short little, twisty, kind of almost maze-like passageways. He seems to know the way quite well. But you're not quite sure what kind of signs or clues he's using to know exactly where he is. Eventually, he arrives at another similar door. This one's slightly smaller. He kind of steps up to it and begins kind of fiddling with a dial on the side. Just a moment, we will see the Grand Librarian.
Of course, I'm gonna turn back to Onyx. Man, you good? You need some water? Are you still trembling? Are you still trembling?
Oh yeah, aggressively.
You need something? I got
shoulders bowed in a little bit, fiddling with his hands nervously.
All right. Well, after this, maybe let me do the talking, and after this, we're gonna have to have a conversation.
Yeah, you go ahead.
The rest of you, outside of the bag, in the stone tunnels with the dwarf. Hold on, let me just check. Azrael, you're kind of keeping an eye out along the passageways here or there. You suddenly note something moving along the ceiling of one of the tunnels. Something very large, sliding slowly towards your party.
So I'm gonna
You
walk
cut
up to
out.
the captain, the whoever is leading it, and I'm gonna point to it and I'll be like, I don't. That's not friendly.
Sorry, what is it? And the dwarf kind of looks up. Hold on a second. I can't quite make it out. Can we get some more light over there? And you see one of the dwarves kind of shuffles up, and he's got this big like lantern on, and he kind of fiddles with it for a second. You see like some orange glow flare up in it, and then he like kind of uncaps it, opening up the front, and this is like big yellow spotlight kind of flies out, and he points it up at the ceiling, kind of moving it along towards the spot where you had pointed. Just kind of slowly scanning it. Can I get a perception check from you?
Hey, quick question. Did he call it the Red Desert?
Yes.
Is that another name for the Torrid Wastes?
No.
That's why I asked if it looked familiar. 'Cause I'm from
Do
the
we
waste.
know of any Red Desert?
No.
Probably on a different plane.
20. Okay. As the dwarven spotlight is kind of like sweeping across the ceiling of the tunnel, like the rest of you guys, you note that the rest of the dwarves are kind of not super paying attention to whatever it is you guys have got going on there. Just a couple of them are looking up, trying to figure out what it was you're trying to show them. Azrael, as the light kind of sweeps across the ceiling, you suddenly note, kind of amongst the rocks, almost blending in with it, there's this huge shape, scales running across its back. Kind of shifts for a second, and then it just unfurls its wings and drops to the ground. And you can see this gargantuan black dragon. And I need you guys to roll for
Initiative.
Hold on a second. Let me put you guys on the right map.
Sounds like our field trip to the library might have been better for our health.
Is this a full-grown black dragon? Like an
Yes.
adult?
It is an adult black dragon.
Fucking yeehaw!
I'm sorry. Asriel was just so in shock because, she's like a legit dragon, probably first time she's seen it.
My first action is to poop myself.
Well, we saw a white dragon, right, on the road?
Me, Javid, and Snow did.
Yeah. You guys have seen dragons from a distance. I think this is your first time seeing a dragon. Not you, Snow. You can't roll for initiative.
Didn't roll for
Not there.
initiative.
I saw you on there.
I have not touched my D&D Beyond in a while. I've been posting memes.
Yeah, I don't see.
I see Javid and Demetari.
Likely story.
Did Briar just like pass out at some point, or she taking a nap, or is she involved in this?
Well, she's paying attention.
She's probably away. Hold on, I got down an adult black.
Fuck that shit.
Whoops.
dragon go?
Oh no. All right. It is like its wings are hovering at just a few feet off the. And. Javid, it is your turn.
All right. Well, I think we need to
Run. We need to run.
I will be running. Running very far.
I think us
Right.
and all the dwarves need to leave immediately. Because it can kill everything. Just with its breath weapon. Kill all, like, 40 of us.
Yeah, I have one point of life, so yeah, I'm duck and covering, and I'm choosing to maybe save it.
Why would you not say something before now? We have ways of fixing that if you're on the edge of
Well, I mean,
death.
I have short rested that time we were waiting for Onyx.
I thought we took a short rest
Yeah.
when we were waiting for Mr. Prince
Okay.
at the end of last session.
Yeah, I think so.
We definitely did.
But Javid, what are you doing?
Well, that's a good question. I wasn't really thinking I would need to do anything about a adult black dragon. But he probably needs to be told that in no uncertain terms that he needs to back away and not follow us. So what's the lighting in here? Can
You're sitting in bright light. There are a bunch of torches being held by the dwarves.
and the dragon is being illuminated. I'm just
Yes.
thinking if I were to run like 50 feet the opposite direction, I'd still be able to see the dragon.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 50 feet in the opposite direction. Which, if I had any movement, I would definitely do. And I can't seem to do that. There we go. That's 20, 30. Let's go offline so I'm not in line with everybody. And then this guy seems like somebody I need to pull all my resources on. So I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark, and then I'm going to shoot at him.
You want to engage the black dragon.
Yeah, just let him know that you know we're moving away, but if he wants to mess with us, we bite back.
Do you speak Draconic? Can you just say that
Yes.
in Draconic? Cause I'm pretty sure he can crush you.
Well, yes, but all 45 of us.
Yes, yes. I think he can breathe on us and kill every single one of us in one breath.
That's why I'm moving out of the way.
Don't want to be a dragon slayer.
I'm just saying, it's an
Just let him
adult.
play his character. Let him play it.
Like, if it was a young dragon, sure. A full-grown adult dragon, that thing can kill. Like, I'm pretty sure it hits more than my total hit points. Like, I would just be dead.
I feel like Javid would have run across dragons before and have a sense for what they're capable of, how they would respond. But I don't know that.
You can make a nature check to see what you might know about black dragon.
Yeah, all right. What do I remember about black dragons and how prickly they are and likely to respond to threats and so forth?
You would know they do not respond well to threats. They are probably the most evil and vindictive of all of the chromatic dragons.
Oh, all right. So in that case, yes, I retract my action and I'll
So you did not want to shoot him with a 17.
did not want to shoot him with a 17, and so I'm going to look for a someplace out of the light, where I can make myself unseen to the things who are relying on dark vision to see in the dark.
So you're just like running off into the darkness.
Yes.
All right, everyone, Javid just huss it through the dwarves off into the dark.
And you know what? My action is going to be to hide.
Smart. All right, good action. Make a stealth check.
Have you ever watched One Piece?
No.
There's a pirate in there that basically just like talks mad shit and then runs away.
Yeah, Javid stood there for a second and was like, I can kill this guy. Just runs off into the darkness.
Had his bow out, was about to like shoot it, then like remembered, oh crap, that's not a good idea, and ran away.
Yeah, there's
the part about vindictive suddenly ran through my mind. Okay, let's not piss off the dragon.
It happens so fast too that probably half the dwarves don't even know that there's a dragon there. They just saw the dude just go into the dark, and they were like, "What the fuck?" Well, anyway, somebody's turn. The dragon beats its wings, flying forward, landing, maybe not that close. He'd probably be about there, kind of on the other side of like the wall of the dwarves, and he just like sets down and in Draconic, he's you just hear him shout, "Delicious morsels to feed on. An excellent way to slake my thirst. This has been something I have been waiting for." And then he just like draws up and like lets out this roll. I need all of you to give me a wisdom saving throw.
This is it. We all die. Oh, I'll do it for Briar.
I don't know what you mean by all. I'm hiding in a bag.
We're at the library.
You'll come out to a bunch of us, like, just dead.
Alright. Azrael, Javid, Briar, this is the most terrifying thing you've ever seen in your life. You know, this is a 30-foot tall dragon just covered in these scales. You can see, like, this horrible acid-burned horns and, like, flesh around his face. Pockmarked wings, like, teeth longer than swords. This is absolutely the most terrifying thing you've ever seen in your life. So you are all frightened. So you have disadvantage on all ability checks and attack rolls while the source of your fear is in line of sight, and you cannot willingly move closer to it. With that, the dragon just like sets down its feet and just like stomps one of the dwarves, like grabs another one in it and just like pops it in his mouth, and then his tail sweeps across and just sends like 4 of the dwarves flying.
Dwarves are in initiative, right? They're gonna get a chance to run away?
Yes, they come right after Dimitar. That is his turn. Dimitar, it's your turn.
Running in terror? Gabby flying right beside me? Like, we're out of here. I'll look back to make sure everybody's following me. Like, I'm not the only one being smart about this, am I? But I'm going. I'm out.
What is that?
Jesus.
I don't know.
The Gatling roll.
Oh, I think that was my heal dice catching up or something.
Did you roll a 40 at once?
Well, I mean, I did use quite a few of them, that's for sure.
Good. We're going to need them.
This... Not really built for running.
Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah.
So you only ran 30 feet. You could have run further.
Oh, yeah.
You could have dashed.
Dashing.
Through the snow.
I don't know exactly which direction I'm supposed to be headed, so I'm just kind of
That's
running.
That's fine.
Just passing Javid.
We can track once you guys get to the edge, and we'll just like add. We'll just remember. All right. The dragon is going to go ahead and use a legendary. All right, none of you are probably within 10. So, the dragon just its wings up, and then it slams him into the ground, sending this great wall of wind forward. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, y'all be fine. You don't need us.
How many dwarves died to that?
Hold on. A lot of them. Nat 1 on their roll. So, using the group rules, that's probably a fair few. there's just this like great wall of wind, and those of you standing in the center of the pack of the dwarves, and these are like soldiers, they're wearing like full armor, just get launched. You see probably like 7, 8 of them just sail over your heads, just like crashing off the rocks behind you. The dwarves are starting to like scream and shout. The leader, the lieutenant who you had been talking to previously, just, oh my great Moradin! Get out of here, everyone, run! It's a dragon! And he just like starts screeching and like shoving dudes past him. The dwarves are just starting to like run back up the passageway. You see like one of the engineers is like fumbling with his little like pack, and you see he pulls out a device and he starts like trying to scurry up the stone towards the rest of you. As he kind of, and the dwarves are pretty much like dashing away, I'll say. All of them. There's not a single dwarf who is remaining to fight, but you can see probably probably 24, maybe 3 that are lying dead already on the ground. There's probably about maybe 30 more that are still trying to get away. The lead engineer, the one holding the pack and the strange device, you guys can see him like fiddling with it. He's trying to do something with it, but it's not working. Alright. It would be Briar's turn.
So Briar's gonna pick up Bonfire, because, you know, she was keeping an eye on him anyways, and then she's just gonna fly 80 feet, because that's her full movement, dashed move. Or dash movement, yeah.
So she wouldn't be able to get the full 80 feet because she's carrying someone, but she could dash 40 because she's holding someone.
Yeah, because, you know, she probably is the type of person who wouldn't leave Bonfire to die.
Okay. Okay. Alright, yeah, she just like scoops him up under his arms, and you can see Bonfire's just like looking at this dragon. You know, he's got the gag back on, and just like flying over the heads of all these dwarves that are just like hurrying to scurry up the stone passageway. Alright, he's gonna make a perception. He like stares down the dwarf engineer that is fiddling with the device. You can see the dragon notices that he's trying to do something. Azrael, it's your turn.
So I'm going to bonus action Step of the Wind, but can I run towards the engineer? I have a pretty high passive perception. Can I run towards the engineer and like grab the device and run? Because my full movement's 135 feet if I Step of the Wind. So can I like run by, grab the device, and then like run?
Sure. I would need you to do an acrobatics check. You do have disadvantage because you're within sight of the dragon. However, the dwarf also has disadvantage because he's terrified. Nat 1. Double nat 1s from the dwarf. He is just freaking out.
So
you
can I grab it from him?
Yeah, you like run past and just like snatch it out of his hands, and the dwarf is like, and he just starts like running.
Yeah, I'd be like, run, just run. And then I'll run my full 135 feet. Am I out of the side of the dragon? I mean, I'm like way ahead of everyone at that point.
Sorry, I did forget. So, go ahead and make a saving throw for Briar, another one of the wisdom saving throws.
And that's at disadvantage because she's frightened.
Yeah, so she stays frightened. Can I get, it would be the end of your turn, so can I get another saving throw from you? still terrified, and you can still see the dragon. He's still kind of eliminated within the passageway.
I'd be off the map at this point.
Yeah, you're over. It's okay. The dragon's probably not going to go that way. Javid, it is your turn. You're hidden and frightened.
All right. Well, seeing the response, and I think I would have noticed, in particular, Azrael's action. So I'm going to run and dash for 80 feet to try and catch up with her.
All right.
And the passageway that we're headed toward, is that one that would be enough for a huge creature like that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're in some big...
So,
yeah.
it would not be impeded in any way by narrow...
He's would be able to follow you guys pretty far. For sure.
Right.
Is that the end of your turn?
Yep.
Can I get a wisdom saving throw from you?
Oh, yeah.
Still frightened. The dragon kind of like stomps towards the dwarves and like is just like grabbing them off the ground. He would basically almost like stomp over the rest of them towards the engineer and then just like slam him into the ground. Just straight disappears underneath his feet. And then he kind of turns, and like a number of the dwarves have ended up behind him, and his tail just like sweeps them back into the tunnel where they had come from.
Are any alive at this point?
Yeah, there's a few. Maybe 18, 20. Demetari, it's your...
I have questions.
Sure.
What if I tried to okay. Behind the dragon there's no one, right? It's just like empty dark tunnel.
What do you mean there's nothing behind you, empty dark tunnel?
Like
There-
are we in like we're in a huge cavern, right? It's not
Pretty
like
much.
Okay. Roof. All right, well there goes my plan. Does it look like any of my party members are struggling to run away?
Not really. Your party's doing, pretty good job.
Okay. I'm going to shout something motivational, like, "You guys, you're doing great. Just run away, and run away to live another day." And then I'm done. And I'll hide behind a rock.
All right, go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Sorry if that was really loud. I'm not used to the phone. Okay.
All right. Just kind of like tuck yourself behind one of the stones that litters the landscape here. Dwarves are going to continue running. A few of them turn around and just like launch this like hail of crossbow bolts towards the dragon, and they just like explode off of his scales, and he just kind of sweeps them away, doing seemingly no damage to it. You watch as the dragon kind of sets back down. He starts drawing in like air. Jesus. These dwarves cannot pass a saving throw to save their lives.
you
Which they're
know,
not
just
doing.
because they're soldiers, but they're not like soldiers who've actually ever seen battle. They're like the soldiers that just kind of like, you know, sit at home and wear armor.
I would say that Javid probably could, as you know, ex-military man, could probably tell that these guys have seen combat before, but you would be hard pressed to find someone who has fought an adult dragon and lived. So this is absolutely new for them.
I mean, there's probably that one guy in the
Hmm.
Fortune Hunters who's like 100 years old who's like, I fought a black dragon.
Yeah. There's there's some random really grizzled veteran who's fought one and lived. This is not that. Briar's turn.
She's just gonna keep flying with them. Although she might try to fly out of the direction of the breath weapon. You know, not be immediately in front of the dragon's mouth.
All right. Can I get another whiz save from her? I just finished. Still frightened. He is terrifying.
Black dragons are especially gruesome looking, aren't they?
Yeah, he looks, his like face, his like visage almost looks like a skull, where like everything's kind of sunken in. He looks half dead, essentially, just naturally. It's probably the reason Dimitari's not afraid of him and everyone else is.
Yeah, she's like, what? I see this every Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean he's cool looking, but I'm small.
Asriel, it is your turn.
So I'm going to turn invisible, because... So I am now invisible.
Okay.
Then I'm going... That's an action in and of itself. Then, so to mess with the device, is that an action?
You could probably just say it's a free action.
Okay, I'm gonna try to explode the device.
Okay. All right. Can I get an Arcana check from you? I'll give you advantage because the dwarf did some stuff.
So is that just a straight roll? Because I'm still at disadvantage.
Sure. All right. You kind of like fiddle with it, and it seems like the dwarf has kind of toggled some stuff on it in a very specific way. It was just taking him a minute to rig it. And there is a very obvious button on it, and you just kind of like click it, and all of you hear this like zzz of electricity, and around the dragon in this like open chasm, there's just suddenly boom, 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 huge explosions of like flame and stone shooting out. This like deep rumble, cracks running up the wall, and then huge stones breaking off and just slamming around the dragon. He just kind of looks up in total surprise and fear, and the ceiling just slams down on him.
Is he dead?
The whole place came down on top of him.
Alright, I'm still gonna move and step of the wind to get the hell away from that.
He's not going to be able to get out. So there's this like huge wall of smoke and like dust and particles of stone that kind of like billows across each of you. You can't see for a second. There's very faint light coming from the orb on Briar's backpack, kind of illuminating the space around you guys. As you kind of pick your way through it, the dust begins to settle. It's now quiet again in the tunnel. You see about kind of clambering their way out of the dusk, about 6 or 7 dwarves kind of moving their way out of the stone.
Is the captain?
Yes, the leader is still alive. He just kind of like comes stumbling forward out of the dust and towards your party. We survived. Was that you? Did you set off the device?
Well, I'm basically invisible, so I'll like
Okay.
hand him. It's like this like thing that comes out of nothing and is like, here you go.
He just like takes it and he's like, thank you. We should probably get out of here.
I'm gonna
We
remain
can
invisible for while I can. Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
we can no longer see the dragon. Is that right?
Correct. It would appear that he was buried by the.
All right.
It would appear.
Does it seem like everything's pretty stable now? Like there's not going to be any residual rocks? Like they all are taken care of?
Make a nature check with disadvantage.
Oh gosh.
All right. Well, there you go. It does seem like, from what you guys can tell, based on like the way the stones fell, the dwarves were very precise in their placement of the demolition charges. They collapsed that junction, and that was it.
Okay. I'm gonna run up to the big pile of rubble, and I'm basically listening to see if I can hear like movement, breathing, any signs of life.
Give me a perception check.
Yep, he's dead.
You do not hear anything. No breathing, no signs of life. There's kind of like a shifting of the stone underneath it, but it's hard to tell if that's just the stones settling.
Well, if you finished your work here, I mean, I assume there are no more charges to be laid, and your lead engineer is probably in that middle of that pile. I say we, with respect, Lieutenant, head back. That is assuming you have no further assignments.
That was the last thing we had to do. I agree, we should get out of here. And he kind of gestures toward the rest of the dwarves. One of them's like clutching his side. You can see he's got like blood running down his face. A rock hit him. We need to get out of here. The last of our charges are under there anyway. The dwarves had just totally dropped the crates as soon as they had to run from the dragon, so the rest of whatever remained of the explosives was covered by the stone.
And the chamber, that junction is sealed off, right?
I should be. It would take a great bit of effort to get through.
All right. Well, it sounds like you fellas knew what you were about, and it looks like we've accomplished what we need to at great loss, but that's war, isn't it?
I don't typically demolition these tunnels for obvious reasons, but it's necessary now.
Mm-hmm. So the juncture that we passed, the first one we saw you mining, that one didn't go off at the same time, did it? There was a separate trigger for that?
Each one should be set independently.
And you still have the trigger for that, and
I should be this one right here.
Does someone need to stay and watch to determine when to set it off, or what's your plan for that?
No, we can demolition them from a fair distance away. We shouldn't need to stay nearby.
But I mean, how will you know when to?
There's a specific plan. All right, we should run back.
Yes,
Everyone,
quite agree.
Let's get out of here. We won't survive another fight like that.
No, clearly not. All right, so yes, hot footing it back, double time, trotting back in the most direct route available.
All right, you begin to head back towards Torvir Deep with the 6 dwarves that have survived.
You sold the bag.
And bonfire. Bonfire made it too.
And bonfire.
And we still have the pack too.
Do you still have that? And I'm like whispering so the dwarves don't hear. Do you still have that guy in the bag, or is that with Onyx?
That's with Onyx.
Fuck! Gosh, Onyx! This would have been a perfect opportunity. Okay.
What guy in the back?
David, the corpse.
Oh, yes.
Are there any free floating dwarves that are dead?
We are
Um,
not rising the dwarves from the dead. Dwarves are very against that.
No, they're leaving. We stay. They dig out the
No.
rubble.
No. We go back to camp with them.
But
there's a back dragon I'm not sure is dead. Let's go.
Well, that's the thing, is we need to find out. They dig
No.
out the
No.
What are you thinking of doing by staying back?
Well, I want to confirm that it is indeed dead. You know, if we have a moment where somebody pulls a rock back and then this eye just dramatically opens, then we're going to know he's still alive. You know? It's going to be like a Lord of the Rings moment. No? Okay. All right, fine, guys. I'm never going to use the spell. It's fine. Let's go.
Wait, you could still use the spell. Like, when Onyx gets back, we'll try to raise the guy in the bag.
Yeah. All right. Uh-huh.
Also a shit ton of dead dwarves.
Well,
We're not raising the dwarves.
I'm not allowed.
What about dragons? Can you raise a dragon?
No.
It's too big. It's too big. I already looked.
No.
That would have been cool, though.
Yeah.
How old do I have to be able to raise a dragon, DM?
How what?
What level do I have to be in order to raise a dragon?
That's a good question. I don't know. Pretty powerful, probably.
You have 3 corpses in Onyx bag. Why can't you use those first?
Because Onyx isn't here.
He'll be back.
Allegedly.
We'll find somebody who can get them out of the bag.
Okay.
Refresh my memory. Why do we have bodies in the bag?
Azrael and Onyx gave them to me as a gift.
So she could raise dead.
I did not
Because she
recall.
hasn't been able to raise dead.
And are these people you're going to be able to get permission from? Are they're going to be okay with being resurrected?
Oh, humans. So
I'm an elf, thank you very much.
they're dead. That is their husk. It is a tool. We reduce, we reuse, and we recycle. So yeah, I don't think they're gonna mind.
And well, I mean, certainly their spirits are gone on by now, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, yep. It's like a cicada shedding its its outer shell. It's no longer a part of them. Just organic material.
All right. I assume at this point you guys are probably going to head off and follow the dwarves?
Yep.
Okay. You begin to scurry off towards the city. Onyx and Snow. The door opens, as operated by Mr. Prince. Kind of slides open into another dark space. As you stride through, following him, you see yourselves standing on the edge of an abyss. There is this kind of curving stone platform that you're standing on with these little purple orbs kind of illuminating it. And then just in front of you, it is just pitch blackness. Mr. Prince kind of towards you. May I introduce the Grand Librarian, Dira? And there is this like crunching, cracking sound of stone shifting. And out of the darkness, this monstrous gargantuan 50-foot wide serpentine face appears in front of you. It is this giant black stone dragon. And that's where we're going to stop.
Oh,
You
no.
bastard.
I'm pooping.
What was the
What?
name again?
Adironoth.
A deer.
I'm pooping.
So
He
what
I'm
is,
was the
totally.
he is an obsidian great worm.
we supposed to fight this black dragon?
You could have.
Like I'm pretty sure it would kill.
All right, I'll see you guys next weekend. Hope you have fun.
Wow.
Bastard.
Wow.